So something I started with ever since I reviewed Metroid Other M was going through all the bosses in the Metroid games I reviewed from that point onwards. That means 2 Metroid reviews were missing this, even if I did talk about bosses briefly in the Super Metroid review. We are here today to go through the bosses of Metroid Fusion and what I think about each boss battle, so sit back and relax as I take you through my journey about the bosses from this great game. Arachnus. The first boss of the game, it's big and it's ready for a taste of blood. It attacks you by slashing shockwaves towards you as well as spitting flames and rolling towards you as a ball. After destroying it, it will turn into a huge X-Parasite with a barrier around it, which you will have to destroy with missiles. A rather fun first boss, and can be a bit challenging if you don't know about the second energy tank you can collect before the boss battle. Killing it will give you the Morph Ball. Elephant Bird / Charge Beam X. The boss of Sector 1, it will trick you into thinking it's a Chosa statue holding a power-up. Destroying the item container will trigger the boss fight, and it will be apparent it's a boss fight when you see it holding the Morph Ball. It transforms back into the X-Parasite with a barrier around it. Only way to attack it is by shooting the eye when it opens. It's important to note that all bosses that drop you a new weapon are fought in the shape before it dies, while regular bosses just have the regular barrier around its core. Not the most interesting boss fight, but it gets the job done, and it will likely catch you off guard the first time around. Killing it gives you the Charge Beam. Sasabi. This boss is weird and looks like a dildo. Yeah, no kidding. I think it's supposed to be some kind of bagworm. Its weak spot is in its giant eye, and there are 2 ways of damaging it. Either let it swallow you whole and bomb it with Morphle Bombs, or shoot missiles through its mouth. You'll have to take out its layers before the X-Parasite reveals its true form. Boss music is a bit weird, but the fight itself is a fun ride. Not super difficult, but I enjoyed my time fighting it. Killing it gives you a combined reward of High Jump and Spring Ball. You fight it in Sector 2. Serris. The one and only boss of Sector 4. You will find the corpse of the eaten Serris in its tanker before the boss room, which sets the atmosphere for the boss, which I love, especially considering how scared I was when I played through this game the first time. Once you've entered the boss room, you will be all alone until you enter the middle of the room on top of the bridge. Here, Serris will arrive in supersonic speed and catch you off guard. Serris will slow down and move in a specific pattern, and it's here you will have the chance to attack its head. Shooting it will make it go super fast again. Do this a couple of times while avoiding it charging into you, and you will soon enough fight against the core. Fast and hectic boss fight, which is a lot of fun, having you avoid it left and right trying to stay above the water, where you will be a sitting duck. Killing Serris will give you the speed boost. Security Robot BOX. The setup for this boss is great, and again scared me as a kid. After just getting the super missiles, you return back to find that the door has been destroyed, and your only option is to go back to the data room while the area is shaking. Here you find the security robot destroying the door. It will notice you and jump towards you. It looks like a mechanical spider and will jump back and forth on the ground, and then stop to spit out a flame ball that will create 2 fireballs that will go from left and right from the middle. This is quite enjoyable and can easily kill you if you're unprepared. Defeating the boss will make it flash in white and escape through the ceiling. You fight this boss in Sector 3. Barrier Core X. You will find this X-Parasite downloading the Varia suit from the data room in Sector 6. It destroys the download central after you blast it with missiles, and it takes off into the next room. Enter the middle, and it has grown huge as it swoops in from the middle. It will run around the room with smaller cores around it like a barrier, hence the name Barrier Core. Slowly destroy the barriers around it and shoot it with enough charge beam shots for it to become small again. Fun fact, you can only harm the boss in its huge form with the charge shots. Not the most interesting boss fights in terms of design, challenge or the fight itself. Killing it gives you the Varia suit. Scientist / Wide Beam X. The setup for this boss is great. You leave Sector 5 for the first time, and before you reach the navigation room, the entire station is in panic, calling for an emergency. After talking with the computer in the navigation room, you are told that the station is about to blow up thanks to a meltdown, and you have 6 minutes on you to reach the boiler room and destroy it to stop the meltdown. So you have to run through Sector 3 on a time limit. Once you've entered the boiler room, you see a scientist at the boiler controls. Shooting the scientist reveals the weapon X, and you have to once again shoot it as it opens its eye. Watch out as it fires wide beam shots towards you. Killing it gives you the wide beam and enter the control panel to shut down the meltdown. The boss itself isn't much to gawk at, but it's enjoyable thanks to the incredible setup of it with the time limit, emergency calls and the run there. Yakuza. After the entire station's power has been shut down, Samus has to make it down to the control room to turn the power back. So, she has to traverse a shutdown station in order to get to the control room. Before that though, she enters the boss room, where she falls down to the bottom. You hear shaking and you are greeted with 3 flames from the ceiling. Down comes Yakuza, climbing down, and it's a spider. It will crawl diagonally down towards you. If it grabs onto you, it will carry you up and damage you while you shake yourself free. If you avoid getting caught, it will open its mouth, and that's its weak spot, so blast it with missiles and avoid the triple fire it spits out. Damage is enough and it enters phases 2, where the spider legs are destroyed and it starts spinning around like it has the space jump. It will spit spider legs at you, so try to shoot it with missiles when it's not spinning around. This boss fight is tough and the first 2 phase battle of the game, but it's also a lot of fun to fight against thanks to being such a challenge. Killing it gives you the space jump. Nettery/Plasma Beam X. Vegetation has stopped the machines from working, giving the station the power it needs, so you infiltrate Sector 2. Eventually, you'll come to a room where you drop down from the ceiling into a chamber that has flowers spitting out spores, as well as Venusaur-looking fly traps. You also have a golden Chosa statue entwined in vines. The music playing here is rather mystical and creepy. Blast the statue enough times with missiles and its heads fall off and it will start attacking you with plasma beam shots. Shoot enough for the weapon X to reveal itself and shoot it in the eye like the rest. Killing it gives you the plasma beam. Nightmare! This boss has one of the best setups to a boss fight in any game. The first time you leave Sector 5, you see it fly around in the background and the computer briefly talks about it. Then on your third visit to Sector 5, it has run amok and destroyed several rooms in the sector, even flooding huge parts of Sector 5. So, you have to traverse a destroyed Sector 5 until you reach the top of the boss room, where you can collect an energy tank, and trust me, you'll need it. Fall down to the actual boss room and you will see Nightmare slowly rise from the ground. The first phase of this boss fight has you fight in heavy gravity, where you have to destroy its gravity changing core. It will shoot laser beams towards you in this phase, while flying around in the room. Destroying the core will destroy its metal face mask, revealing its ugly green face. In phase 2, it will run around the room until it finally stops to slowly move towards you while shooting its lasers. Blast it with missiles and its face will slowly turn more and more red as the face melts more and more. Truly a creepy sight, but I love this boss fight. Probably my favorite in the game as well. It's a lot of fun to fight against and it offers a great challenge as well. Even to this day I can sometimes die against it. After defeating it, you get the gravity suit. Security Robot BOX Rematch / Waybeam X. Returning to Sector 6 has you enter a hidden area not shown on the map. Eventually you enter a section leading to a remote lab on the station with a security gate and a security camera. With no way of going through, you'll have to backtrack while hearing you cannot access without authorization.
We currently have no plans to authorize the...
Entering the boss room is yet again a surprise with this boss, as the water is now electrified, thanks to the broken down robot. It's now much more aggressive and faster in its movement and jumping. As you climb in the ceiling, it will try to knock you down by jumping as well as shooting homing missiles towards you. Its weakness is yet again the core of it. Damage it enough and you will reveal its brain, which looks surprisingly similar to a Metroid. Then it reveals itself and it's just another weapon X you have to fight. Kill it and you get the wave beam. This boss fight is challenging and thanks to its hecticness it can be fun to fight against. My one issue with it is that you doesn't feel much different from the first fight. Neo Ridley. The setup for this boss is interesting. You can see a frozen Ridley behind a wall early on in the game, but no way of reaching it. When the station's power has been shut down, you find yourself inside that very room, with Ridley's eyes glowing, as it tends to do before a Ridley boss fight. Here, it just breaks down, and an X-Parasite flies off. Near the end of the game, when you return to Sector 1 again and reach the boss room, you will fall down to find a brown frozen shape of Ridley, in which its eye starts to glow yet again, before it evolves into Neo Ridley. This is by far the loudest boss fight in the game, as Ridley has an ear-stabbing shriek. Ridley will fly around the room trying to stab you with his tail, attacking you by grabbing you as well as breathing fire towards you as it shrieks. You can make this boss fight lag heavily by using power bombs, creating an annoying but rather hilarious sound. Damage Neo Ridley enough and you will have to fight against the core. This boss fight is fun and can be really tough. The best part about it is hearing the Ridley theme as you fight against it. Not the most interesting Ridley fight, but fighting against Ridley is always fun, so I enjoy it either way. You get the iconic screw attack by defeating Neo Ridley. SAX. SAX has been a thorn in your backside the entire time. You see it for the first time at the beginning, where it comes from the wall, destroying an already open door. You learn it's a clone of you, but with full power. Then, you have a run-in with SAX in Sector 2, where you will hear and see it walk in silence below you, unless you troll it like I tend to do. Your next run-in with SAX is in Sector 6, where you need it to open a wall so you can reach the data room. You run into SAX in Sector 5 after getting the power bombs, and have to secretly avoid it behind a wall. Your next run-in with SAX is when you infiltrate Sector 2, and you have to actively run from it in order to get through, as it's patrolling the area. You run into SAX in the hidden Metroid lab, where it desperately fights off the Metroids as you can escape the lab before it's detached from the station. Thinking it is dead, you learn there's a total of 10 SAX roaming the station, but your final encounter with the SAX is in the room before the space station control room. It will enter the room as you reach the door to the control room. This battle is awesome. It's Samus vs Samus, with both of you being at full power, new versus old in a glorious battle to the death. SAX moves fast, jumps towards you with the screw attack, and is quick to fire its ice beam towards you. Defeating the first form has it mutate into what looks like a monster combined with Samus' old ship. Damage is enough and to become an A-Weapon X of the ice beam. Destroy its barrier and the X-Parasite will flee from the room. This boss fight is such an epic fight and so much enjoyable to fight. Omega Metroid! You have altered the course of the station and it's on the way to the surface of SR-388. You have 3 minutes to get off the station via the ship. As you get to the hangar, you see the room before it destroyed. You enter the hangar and you see one huge shell. After defeating Neo Ridley, you can find different sizes of these shells in Sector 1, and it's here you'll find the biggest shell. Out from the wall comes the Omega Metroid jumping. It attacks you with a swing from its claw and all your energy is drained to only 1 health left. Wait around and the X-Parasite which escaped comes in and transforms back into SAX and shoots at the Omega Metroid until it takes a swing from its claws and loses its form. Samus then absorbs the ice beam and can now damage the Omega Metroid. Shoot it in the stomach and push it backwards. The Omega Metroid will damage you with its claws, draining an entire energy tank and making Samus fall to her knees. Bless it enough and it will eventually be destroyed, and as it does, the ship will return and you can escape the station before it crashes onto the planet. And you can sit back and enjoy the final scene of the game and the end credits. A great final boss battle that comes somewhat out of a surprise, but still enjoyable to fight against, especially with the time still ticking. So there you have it, all the boss fights of Metroid Fusion. The boss fights truly are great from this game, and with almost all of them being a great joy to fight against. One of the most gruesome designs, and the most challenging boss battles in any Metroid game. Definitely the important role of the game, and without them, the game just wouldn't be the same. Hello everyone, thank you very much for watching this first standalone boss breakdown video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section down below. because these might be their standalone thing actually. They might be detached from the reviews, because, well, considering how long this one took, then think about how long they will take for other reviews to do. So they might be its standalone thing from now on. So there's that. Anyhow, special thanks to Hikikomori Media and Patrick Peterson for their Patreon pledges. Remember, you can support the channel directly by pledging onto me on Patreon? Patreon! But again, do let me know if you enjoyed this video down on the comment section. And with that said, it's been No, it's FrogFace! Haha, I almost said the wrong thing! But either way, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I shall see you in the next one. I'm working on a new script, so it will be whenever, really. But take care and happy holidays to ya. See ya, everybody!